So here we are in Düsseldorf, making for Derendorf station up there in order to get the train and the tram to Düsseldorf Boat Show. Spelt B-O-O-T, but boat. Okay, on our way to the train station. So here we are at Derendorf station, waiting for the S11 to take us through, and then a tram to take us to the exhibition centre. And very definitely frost on the tracks here. I've not seen frost for some time. Here's our train. I have to make sure I press the green button to open the door if I want to get inside the carriage, but that works fine. You just have to know to do it. Here we are in the airport actually, and now we're going to get this bus 896, which takes us down to the Düsseldorf Messe, the show centre. And of course all we have to do now is find our way around this place. So we're down at the east entrance, which is here. So we've actually just come into there, and I need to go into the 4:15 and then on into 16, and then at 4 o'clock this afternoon I'll be presenting in hall 17. So that's the plan for today. So this is the entrance, not exactly busy at the moment, and of course one thing I hadn't realised, of course being such a large amount, there's hall 15 over there, and then 16, 17 leading off that way. 17 is where I'll be presenting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and of course it's kind of semi-outdoors in between the halls, and the temperature's lurking just above freezing, so it's not exactly warm, but I'm well wrapped up. I took my hat off, which I think was a mistake, but I'll keep it off for the moment and get into one of the halls. Presumably they're a bit warmer than out here. Here we are in hall 15, which is the sailing hall, as you can see. Nice to see quite a few sails up. Pretty big place. Okay, well we've done the Clipper stand and the RS21 stand, the RS stand rather. So everywhere you see the boat, not a boat, but there we go. In German, boot is boat. They've got a bit of a breeze blowing here, so the kiddies have got a little bit of wind in their sails in the office here, but it's rather a nice little thing to do. Great fun. Just a small shot of the Yacht magazine stand. Yacht is a little bit like in England, Yachting Monthly or Yachting World, Yachting Practical Boat Owner, a mix of all of those. Very, very popular yachting magazine, sailing magazine in Europe, and always been very, very supportive of my sailing around. So it was nice to have a quick chat with people there. So now we're in hall 16, which is where the big boats are, and you can see now why the exhibition centre has such a high ceiling. They have to allow for the masts, so they're actually, having said that, I'm not sure I'm seeing any masts here. No, they've taken the masts away. On the smaller ones, they have the mast, obviously, but on the big ones, they've not bothered. So we've got the big yachts, Bavaria, Grand Soleil. I'm sure we've got Dragonflies, Sunbeam yachts. Who have we got here? Safari yachts, I don't know those at all. And Jeanne, of course. Yep, quite a few boats in here. So a different thing from the other. The other one was a beginning sailing one more for the dinghies, the smaller ones. And here we've got the big boats. So quite well attended. Well, we do have one boat with its mast up, but it looks like a chopped off boat mast. It's not quite as high as it should be. Nice to see Rustler Yachts presenting here, the R24, that one. So quite a small one with its mast up. So here we are, we've come out of hall 16 and 15. And now we've had to come out into the open to get over to hall 10, which is somewhere this way. 12, 11, looks pretty big. 14 that way. So I presume 10 is down that way. So out into the chilly atmosphere. It's not too bad. I am well dressed, mind you, and I was feeling a bit overheated in the halls, but being out here is a bit of fresh air is rather nice. So here we are in hall 10, and this is obviously where all the electronic bits and pieces, bits of gear for your boat, all the little bits and pieces is being displayed. So we'll see whether we can find those quick, and we need to find Scanstrot. Okay, so as I say, everything for the boat here, all the bits and pieces, all the things that you need to have your boat working well. Master Vault well represented there. A lot of English being spoken, quite a few of the stands in fact have English speaking people on them, and who don't necessarily speak any German, but fortunately a lot of the Germans speak English, and a lot of people here hoping to see to look for something ready for the coming summer. Charting, of course, navionics, of course, VHF and SSB radios. We are at the Brunton stand, home of fantastic propellers, really, really good. So, very, very excellent, the best propeller. Okay, so here we are at the Scanstrot stand, make some wonderful supports for iPods, iPhones, iPads, you name it, they make it. But, I'm actually looking at the moment at a support for my iPhone that will go onto a 1-inch tube, so that would be quite interesting for videoing when I'm on the boat and sailing and don't want to actually hold the thing in my hand, so that's a possibility.
Mega viel Spaß gemacht und ich glaube, da will ich auch ein bisschen mehr machen.
Haben wir vorhin ja gehört, das ist ganz interessant. Beim Defi-Wind war vergangenes Jahr, muss man ja sagen, Wingfoiler am Start. Also selbst dort gibt es irgendwie die neue Klasse jetzt irgendwie mit. Also es ist alles möglich jetzt.
Ja, also ein Defi-Wing gibt es jetzt, es gibt den ursprünglichen Defi-Wind und es gibt den Defi-Kite. Und ich schätze mal, dass ich nächstes Jahr beim Defi-Kite und Defi-Wing mitfahren werde.
Man muss das schon auslosen. Dieses Jahr ist es schon wieder, genau. Wir haben jetzt gerade den Jahreswechsel, ist noch so frisch. Genau, aber hinter uns sieht das auch schon ganz gut aus im Becken. Clint, wie weit seid ihr hier mit eurer Vorbereitung für die Wakeboard-Show? Wakeboardest du auch, Elias?
Ein wenig.
Ein wenig.
And of course this is where the big boats are, very big boats, motor yachts. At the end of the day. Pretty impressive. Very large motor yachts. A lot of them very luxurious. Interesting to see this person foiling on a very small board on one of these large areas of water. Several of these big halls had these large water areas for demonstrating. Here we have the stage in the sailing centre where I was to present Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning as well. Of course, it was very difficult to say everything I wanted to say within the half hour allocated, but we did what we could, and the audience was very receptive. It was lovely to see some friends in the audience and have a chat with them later. one pair, Eric and Randy, I'd not seen since I was in the Sea of Cortez in Mexico in 2016, we decided.
Das ist der rote Faden, aber im Prinzip kann man ja auch einen anderen roten Faden in seinem Leben finden, aber so wie man auch entscheidet.
But it was still interesting to see how this was constructed. Basically a set of demountable telescopic poles. Well, not telescopic actually, just break apart poles. Carefully color-coded, blue one end, red the other. And yeah, but I decided to, you know, to have something that took quite a time to put together. Fine if you're going to be away for on a camping trip and can keep it all put together, but not for me on the boat. So I decided this was not actually something that I was terribly interested in, but it was still interesting to see how it was all put together and taken apart again. This little stage was full of demonstrations, very interesting, and noticed that the waterway was like a little stream, and they'd put lots of plants around to make it look like as though you're in the countryside, which was very nice. And then finally, this was the fold-up kayak that I was very interested in, and in fact later ordered for Narida. Looked ideal. And here I am having a go in it, in one of them on the water there. Great fun. Thanks to Eric for taking the photos. And yeah, so that decided me. I'd really like to have one on the boat. And then on to another of the big water areas where there were some model boats model yachts being radio controlled. Again, a different way of people having fun with the water rather than on the water themselves. But that's fine. Anything to do with the water is good in the show here. And interesting to see a Chris Craft flying the US flag. We're back with the Rustler 24. Very pretty little boat. And very distinctive. This caught my eye, Udall and Fröhlich. They're the same people as designed my Naiad. So I had to have a quick look at this one. It's just a 28-footer, good fun. And here we've got a 380, but this is a Jeanne. It's a Sun Odyssey. Oh, the different boat. Interesting keel there. And another boat with the same, you know, to get a shallow draft, you add a bit of weight and you can make the depth that much less. This is a Janno's keel. Most interesting shape. One thing that just occurred to me is you're not going to get off the mud that quickly with this one by heeling over. Interesting swing keel on this one. Trying to get the shallow draft. Seemed to be quite a popular thing to be doing at the moment. This is over Bavaria doing a similar thing. So here's the 42-foot, new 42-foot Bavaria. Again, reducing its draft by the shape of this keel. And then a similar kind of thing over here with the 34-foot new Bavaria, Cruiser 34. Again, keeping its draft shallower. Interesting. We've got a Bavaria 38, so same size as Narida, as my Naiad, but again, keeping the draft really, really a lot shallower. Seems to be very much the in thing. Shallow draft. Here we've got the Beneteau First 36 with twin rudders there. And the same thing, keeping the draft shallower. So this is the new Beneteau First 36. And looking at the harbour grasses, similar thing. You've got the shallow keel. This is the 30, what is this one, the 36 I think? No, the 340, 34. This one is the okay, this is the 400, and look at the bow thruster. Interesting. Recesses away when you don't need it and comes down when you do. It's a pretty good idea. Nothing like having a bow thruster out of the way when you don't need it, which is most of the time. I just noticed even on the 340, all of them, in fact, I've got these kind of effectively a bowsprit. So it's pretty interesting. Something different. And this is the Vauquier. Interesting, they've made the anchor bow roller much more accessible. So again, effectively quite a bowsprit. I don't know what they call it, but it's not a bowsprit, but it's acting like a bowsprit. And the Naughty Swan, the Swan going the same way. Got this similar...
Nee, auf den Nordtribüne kannst du vergessen.
Similar bowsprit affair over where the anchor is, but so that you can get to the anchor.
So essential kits.
Maybe not, it's actually solid. Interesting. Of course, we had to get the windsurfers in here, so we've got the windsurf sails, Nautics, and very noisy in here. We've got the stand-up boards, wakeboarding, back to the wakeboarding pool. Okay, and the windsurfers. This is the wings. Just amazing, the variety now, coming from windsurfing and then into foiling, kite surfing, and then windsurfing. Quite funny. Very interesting. So we have the foils for windsurfing. These are the F2, so very...
I ride the wing with my snowboard really often. This is so nice.
So it's
so nice.
Land, snow,
Land,
or
snow,
sea.
park it, place. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And you can also ride it with a mountain board on a off-road. Easy.
It's really varied now. Okay, so here we have the kite, and here we have the wing. And then to the complete opposite extreme, of course, now we have the really, really big motor yachts. This is the 90 Ocean by Sunseeker. And it was interesting because I'd actually been chatting to the skipper of this yacht, the captain of this yacht, who actually hails from Guernsey, where my boat is registered, where Narida. Spent several months. And I was amused to see this at the chart table in this big yacht. My boat has 2 or 3, maybe 4 items. This one has lots. And a lot more of these yachts, super yachts, many of them, really large. And of course the smaller ones. Even the smaller ones are pretty luxurious, just not my style. I think I prefer my sailing boat to a motorboat. And here in the big entrance hall, we have an overview of everything on offer at the Dusseldorf Boat Fair. Quite an amazing exhibition, and certainly one that you could spend several days looking around if you wanted to look around at everything. And if you come with anything specific in mind, you'll almost certainly find it here. So well worth a visit. The biggest show in Europe. The Paris show is down, the London show is down, but Dusseldorf keeps going. kinds, all kinds. Boot Dusseldorf. Big dive section, of course, and a lovely show. Goodbye, Dusseldorf.